I'm Teacher Robin. Welcome to another live streaming class. If this is your first time with us, let me explain how the classes work. Today our topic is the top 15 phrasal verbs. If you have a question during the class, write your question in the comments section and I'll answer it at the end of the class. I also have a few questions for you at the end of my lesson to check what you've learned and practice with the phrasal verbs, and you can write your answers in the comments section as well. So let's get started by talking about the grammar, so defining what are phrasal verbs. Okay, they are a group of words that function as a verb, so a verb that has more than one word. They're normally made up of a verb and a preposition, or a verb and an adverb, or both. And many phrasal verbs have more than one meaning, so we're going to look at some examples of that right now. Okay, first let's look at one thing to keep in mind with phrasal verbs. Some can be split and some cannot. When I say split, it means that you put the object in the middle. So if a phrasal verb has two words, the object goes in the middle. For example, he took me out for dinner last night. The object is me. He took who out? Me. So the object here goes between the phrasal verb to take out or took out in the past. Okay, let's look at an example where the phrasal verb cannot be split. She got over the flu in time for the party. Here, the phrasal verb stays together and the object, the flu, goes after. So when we go through our top 15 phrasal verbs, I'm going to tell you which ones can be split and which ones cannot, so you can make a note of it. Okay, what is the best way to learn phrasal verbs? There are hundreds in the English language, so don't worry if you don't know all of them or you're just getting started. Take your time. They have to be memorized because there is no rule. So the best thing is to make notes or note cards and practice in groups of 5 or 10 phrasal verbs with the phrasal verb and the definition. Reading in English is a great way to practice or look for phrasal verbs because they're very common in the English language. So if you read in English, you'll start to recognize some of them. And don't worry, take your time. Little by little, you'll start to remember them and use them in your English conversations, and it will become more natural. So let's look at the top 15 phrasal verbs. I say top 15. There isn't really a top 15. We've just chosen 15 that are very commonly used in the English language. So we're going to look at the phrasal verb. I'll tell you if it can be split or not, and we'll look at the definitions and some example sentences. Okay, number 1, to add up. This can be split. It means to be added together and equal the expected amount. So like in math, 5 plus 5 adds up to 10. The other definition is to make sense or to seem to be logical. For example, I heard 2 very different versions of the story. It just doesn't add up, so it doesn't make sense. Okay, let's look at number 2, to blow up. This one can be split as well. It has 3 different definitions. The first one is to fill something with air or gas. We blew up 50 balloons for the party. The second definition is to explode or to cause something to explode. There was a gas leak in the lab causing it to blow up. And the last definition is more figurative, to become very angry. So for example, Tom blew up when I asked him what was wrong. Okay? The next one is to bring up. It can be split, and it means it has 2 definitions. The first one is to take care of and teach, so like a child. For example, I was brought up in a family of 4, so I was raised in a family of 4. And the other definition is to mention something in conversation, to mention something when talking to someone else. For example, Mary brought up a pay raise in the meeting with her boss. Okay, the next one, to call off. This can be split. It means either to stop doing or planning to do something, or to cause someone or something to stop attacking another thing. So in the first example, to stop doing something, the couple called off the wedding 2 days before the ceremony, so they canceled it. And in the second example, the owner called off his dog after it growled at the teenager, so he told it to stop. Okay, number 5, to carry on. This phrasal verb cannot be split, it has to stay together. It means to continue to do what you're doing. Okay, for example, please carry on talking, I didn't mean to interrupt. Or it can also mean to behave or speak in an excited or foolish way. For example, Peter's been carrying on about his new car for the past 10 minutes. So that means he won't stop talking about it. He just keeps going. Okay, number 6, to come across. This one cannot be split. It has 2 definitions. It means to seem to have a particular quality or character. For example, her dad came across as very serious. So he seemed like he was a serious person, even if he wasn't, really. And number 2, to meet or find someone or something by chance. For example, I came across my old friend Marie from high school the other day. So you met, it wasn't planned, but you run into someone. Okay, number 7, to come up with, cannot be split. It means to get or think of something that you need or want. For example, I need to come up with 100 euros to get my car fixed, so I have to find this money somehow. Number 8, to fall apart, cannot be split. It means to break into parts in a sudden and unexpected way. For example, Justin's toy fell apart when he threw it across the room. It also, in the figurative sense, it means to become unable to live in a normal way due to emotional pain or confusion. For example, the relationship fell apart when they moved to different cities, so it didn't work out. Number 9, to get along, cannot be split. This has 4 definitions. The first one, to be friendly with someone, to be friends with someone. For example, I get along really well with my stepsister. The second definition is to make progress while doing something. Are you getting along okay with your math? So how's it going? The third definition means to leave a place. We better get along, it's midnight. And the fourth definition is to become old or to age. My grandfather is getting along, but he still drives. Okay, number 10, to get away can be split. It means to go away from a place, to leave a place. For example, I haven't had a vacation in 6 months. I really need to get away. I really need to go somewhere else. Okay, the next definition is to avoid being caught or to escape. The bank robbers got away before the police arrived, so they weren't caught. And the last definition is to not be criticized or punished for something that you do. For example, Sarah always gets away with leaving work early, so she has no consequences. Okay, 11, to get over, cannot be split. It means to stop being controlled or bothered by something, like a problem or a feeling. For example, I got over my fear of flying when I went on vacation to Tahiti. Okay, the second definition is to stop feeling unhappy about something. For example, it took me a long time to get over the breakup, to feel better. Okay, the last definition, is to become healthy again after an illness, so to get better. For example, Lance is finally getting over his cold. Okay, number 12 is to give up. This can be split. It means to stop doing an activity or making an effort, to admit that you cannot do something and stop trying. For example, we gave up waiting for a taxi and walked home instead. Okay, we're almost there. Number 13, to go on, can be split. It has 4 definitions. The first one is to continue. The thief went on stealing until he was caught. The next definition is to go or travel to a place before another person or group. For example, I'll be late, so go on without me. The next definition means to happen or to occur. For example, there's a festival going on in the city center. And the last definition is used to urge someone on, to encourage someone. For example, go on, tell everyone the news. Okay, number 14, to hold on cannot be split. It can mean literally to hold something in your arms, to keep your hands or your arms around something. For example, hold on tight, the bus ride is very bumpy. Or the second definition is to maintain a position or to wait. For example, hold on, I'll connect you to customer service. So wait, stay where you are. And finally, the last phrasal verb in our top 15 list is to look after. This one cannot be split, and it means to take care of someone or something. For example, I'm looking after my cousin this weekend. She's 4 years old. Okay, now that we've seen our top 15 phrasal verbs, let's practice together. I'm going to ask you 3 questions, and you can write your answers in the comment section. Okay, my first challenge for you is to write a sentence with the phrasal verb look after. Do you remember what this means? If you can think of an example with look after, write it in the comments. My second question is a fill in the blank. The blank is one of the phrasal verbs that we've just seen, okay? I had to my birthday party because I was sick. Which of the phrasal verbs, the top 15, could go in this blank? I had to my birthday party because I was sick. Okay, and finally, I want to know how many phrasal verbs with the word or with the verb to get can you think of? There are a lot, so if you can think of some, write them in the comments. Let's see how many phrasal verbs you know. All right, as we're writing your answers, let me tell you about our course here at ABBA. At ABBA, we have a complete course from beginners to business level featuring 144 units. Each unit has a short film, a video class, and exercises to help you improve your English. We have a free version. If you're free, you can access all of the video classes and the first unit of each level. And as a premium student, you can access all of the course content. So if you are interested in signing up for our course, you can join 15 million other students by clicking on the link that we're posting right now in the comments to get more information about the ABBA course. If you study with ABBA, you can study from your PC, from your tablet, or from your cell phone, so it's very flexible. It's an easy way to study whenever and wherever you are. So check that out if you haven't already. And now let's see who's joining us today. Where are you from and what questions or comments do you have about phrasal verbs in English? All right. Let's see. Okay. Rahi, thanks for joining. Wasim, Dedi, and Sanshu, I'm looking after my parents. Good example. Okay, Amara, Sayeda, and Jargal and Wakar. Okay, thanks for joining. Rahi says, I love phrasal verbs. Okay, I'm glad to hear that. Good. As you are writing your comments, let me tell you about next week's class. You can find the schedule for the month of June posted on our Facebook page, so you can see the date, the time, and the topic. Next week, we're going to talk about the English language, an overview, a little bit of history about the English language. Why do we use the words that we use? Where did it start? So we're going to go through the timeline a little bit about the English language. So I hope that you can join us for that next week. Okay, remember that if you want to receive a reminder from Facebook anytime we're live streaming, you can do that by changing your Facebook settings to get notifications. Okay, and I want to remind you as well, at ABBA, in addition to our Facebook page, we also have a blog with articles on grammar and culture. We have a SoundCloud page with podcasts that you can listen to, and we have a YouTube channel and a Twitter page. So please check out all of those free resources if you haven't already. You can practice more with phrasal verbs or any other topic that you like in English. You can find it there. Okay, let's see if anyone else has written a comment. When the nurse looks after her patients. Very good example. Okay, Sandy, thanks for joining. Okay. All right. Well, I want to encourage you to keep writing in the comments if you think of an example or a question that you want to ask. Write it down. Even after the live class is finished, I'll answer your questions later on today. All of our videos will stay on the Facebook page. If this is your first time to join us, you can find all of our previous classes in the video section so you can see what we've talked about in previous classes. Lots of material for you to catch up on. So we'll finish for today, but keep writing. I hope you can join us next week when we talk about the English language, and I hope that you have a great weekend. I'll see you next time. Take care. Bye.